What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to Your Ex Drinking Buddy. My name is Brennan Tassif. I'll be your host. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com/merch-store. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll put the shorts up there, the full video, the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I love it. I hope you love it. Subscribe on Patreon too. We do bonus episodes. I do Tales from the Restaurant where I talk about celebrities I've waited on and whether they're assholes or not, which is super fun. Also, we do a pre-show banter for my other show, Cheers from the Press Box with Joe Dorville. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on over there too. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere, just all over the place. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not leaving the mean comments, thank you for that. Maybe leave a couple nice ones.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brandon T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Tassif is your ex drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do. Hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from Atlanta, Georgia, Headphone Joe, Isidore. Ah!
What's going on? What's going on?
What up, dude?
Doing good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. We had to have you on. For those who didn't see the pictures, Joe got married a couple of weeks ago. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
And you
what
released an
day is it?
album.
Almost 2 months now. Almost 2 months.
Has it been 2 months?
Almost, yeah.
To
It was
quote,
August 9th.
to quote
So,
Captain Hook in the movie Hook, has it been 3 days?
yeah,
Uh, yeah, so we had a lot to talk about. You released an album, and then what was it? A day later, you got married.
yeah. Next day, got married.
Yeah, and
Pretty
we've
cool.
been. It's funny because when I was at the wedding with you guys in Atlanta, I was like, "Oh, we got to do a pod about it. You got to come on. We got to promote the album, do a pod," and then we just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, you know, catching up on life because
Yeah.
to a degree, I don't want to say like I was consumed by the wedding, but I was like consumed by the wedding, and then so then after the fact, it was kind of like getting my head uh out of water, getting above water.
Yeah.
So like it was funny. One of my buddies, I talked to him for the first time. I called him on Saturday. First time I talked to him since the wedding. He lives here in Atlanta.
Oh,
First
really?
time me and him spoke because I just been like calling family and then like all right, like for like a month before the wedding. I don't want to say I was doing my work like for work,
Yeah.
but I was like so far ahead of my work. So I like put my head down and got so ahead of my work that nothing could be nobody could be like, oh, Joe's slipping during this period of time while he's getting married. So I just got so far ahead of my work. And then like I had my sister was living with me, so that that whole situation was still a little confusing as far as like the living situation. So it was a lot was on the shoulders of me and the lady. And yeah, we were just trying to make sure we came out of it clean.
Yeah. And now here we are,
And then
almost
catch
two
our
months
breath. I
later.
think that's more what I'm trying to say. We were trying to catch our breath after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally understandable. We got done recording Cheers this past, what was it, Monday, and I was like, "Hey, we still need to have you on." But speaking of though, the big reason, not only you got married, but you did have a new album come out. Promote everything up front. You know, we always do that at the top. Let everyone know where they can
Yes.
find you. All your social media is now changed. We're gonna get
Yes.
into why
That is
during the show, but let everybody know.
you can follow me on all social platforms at Joe A Isidore, JoeAIsidore. Check me out on Letterboxd. I'll be reviewing movies. I really love movies. And then check me out on all the other podcasts. That's a new low. That is Who Does a Podcast and Cheers from the Press Box with my co-host here, Brennan Tassif. And then all the music under the moniker Headphone Joe, no O, no E in the phone. The new album is Mama's Boy. Dropped August 8th. But also there's TV season 2, head outside and 30. And
All
yeah,
sorts of
and head
music.
over to headphonejoe.etsy.com.
Beautiful. You've been
I got
making
too much
music.
shit.
You've
Jesus
been making
Christ.
music for a long time. Well, there's a really good comic here in New York, Greer Barnes, who always says you got to stockpile as much gunpowder as you can. So then when somebody finally lights the fuse, you can set it all off.
Yeah, that's
Which is
cool.
true. You got all the albums out, you got all the podcasting. So eventually, when one of these things catches,
Something
everyone's
will
going to
catch
be like,
fire.
yeah. And then everyone's going to be
They can
like,
go through the
oh,
back catalog and be like, oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Everyone's going to be like, this Joe Isidore is like prolific, man. And you're going to be like, I've been doing this for a long time. You guys
Be
just
like,
found
man,
me.
I'm tired.
You say prolific. I'm tired. Matt has a great bit now where he's like, everyone's always talking about winning. Like, are you winning? I'm winning. We're winning. Everybody's winning. Work, finances, marriage. And he's like, I don't want to win. I want to rest.
I mean, that is, I was about to say it's funny. I want to rest, but rest looks different. Like I want my family to start. Like me and Ariel have been talking about like working on starting our family and everything. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
the goal I'm looking for now. Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle B coming down to Atlanta, baby.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Wah, 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 wah. So, what do you want to talk about first? The album or the wedding? It's up to you.
Um, I think man,
Let's talk about the album first.
let's talk about I was gonna say I think I want to talk about the album first. Because the
Yeah.
album dovetails with the wedding.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So, for those of you who don't know, you can go back and listen to Joe's first or second or third episode. Every time Joe has a new album come out, we try to throw on an episode, promote the album. But I want you to take the listeners through. For those of you who don't know, Joe's mother passed away. You went on a trip to Europe. It was a whole thing. And then the album that just recently came out is called Mama's Boy. So I kind of want you to explain to the listeners where the idea came from. The picture that you have as the cover art is beautiful. I may or may not have cried when I first saw it, but take everybody through kind of the precipice and then how you finished the album, what the theme was, the concept, all that.
Yeah. So my mom passed in 2016, moved to Atlanta 2017. And so let's fast forward from that. That's all the knowledge you need to know about that. Fast forward to now. Um, Me and well, then my dad died in 2020. Not COVID related, just old age, I guess. I don't know. Me and him didn't have a connection after 16. So then me and Ariel eventually meet and we get engaged and everything. And we were talking about she made me watch Bridgerton. Bridgerton is one of her favorite shows or whatever. She made me watch Bridgerton. And in the first season, the main character doesn't want to sire an heir because he had a turbulent relationship with his father and he wants his father's name and royal nobility to die with him. He doesn't want his legacy to live on. And I was like, oh man, I kind of see, like, I get this guy. Me and this guy, similar wavelengths. It's pretty interesting. So then after we got engaged, I was like,
Real quick, I don't mean to interrupt, but I do it all the time. That is a diabolically smart way to be like, no, you weren't in my life. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna spite you. I'm not gonna go after you. You know what's gonna happen though? Your legacy dies with me.
Yeah, it
It's
just
like,
doesn't exist anymore. You'll
whoa.
be forgotten to the sand of
Yeah.
time.
We're not gonna
Um,
fight. I'm not gonna argue. I don't want anything from you. It's just you'll be forgotten.
yeah. So we got to the fianced portion of our relationship, and I think me and her were talking about it, and I was like, because I think jokingly she was like, "Do you want a junior?" I was like, "Hell no." I was like, "Last thing I want is a junior." I was like, "I don't even like my last name, to be real honest." I was like, we're progressive. We're kids of the aughts and the 2010s. I was like, what if I took your last name? And she was like, no, I don't really like my last name. And my dad doesn't really like his relationship with his father is like muddled. So like he doesn't really care about and he was kind of resigned to the fact that he has three girls. So she was like, he was kind of resigned to the fact that like he'll be the last
It's
person with the
over.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, what if we hyphenated, like, where it's a real joining of names type of thing? And she was like, I mean, that's a possibility. And then one day we
That
were just,
to me, that's just the most ironic thing where it's like, you don't like
yeah,
yours,
we
I
both
don't like
hate our
mine.
names.
Why don't we just do
Let's bring
both
them
of
together.
them?
um, and then one day she brought it up and she was like, "Well, what if we just took your mom's name?" And I was like, "That." I was like, "That's a really good idea." I was like,
Genius.
because I mean, yeah, as a woman, my mom, her name died with her. It was
Mhm.
her and my grandma, so the name died with her in a way. Um, so I was like, man, that is because she didn't get the name of her father. She got her mom's. She carried her mother's maiden name. So, and when she married my dad, she never took his name. So I was like, man, that is very interesting, and I want to look into how to, the process and everything. And funny enough, shout out to my boy Jason from the Fulham bar. He was telling me, I was talking to him and brought it up to him, and he was like, "That's crazy," because and this is like me and him had just started really getting to know each other at this point. And he was like, I changed my last name from my dad's name to my mom's name because my dad wasn't really in my life. This is like a white kid from Alabama. He was like, yeah, my dad wasn't really in my life. So he was like, I love my mom. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to change it. And he did it like, I think he's 40 now. So he did it like in his late 30s, mid 30s. And he was like, I'm changing it to my mom's name and like, we'll have this together. So then he kind of told me kind of a little bit of the process. I think Greg and Kendra had just got married, and Kendra was telling me a little bit about the process, and I was like, you know what, babe, I think it's something I want to do. And then the reason I say the two things dovetail is once she said that, I was like, you know what I should do? I was like, this is jokingly, like months before. I was like, I should come out with an album right before and call it Mama's Boy because I'm changing my name because I'm a Mama's Boy XYZ. And but the biggest thing was I wasn't going to tell my family.
Yeah, that was
I
the
wanted
big
it to be
surprise.
surprise,
The big
uh,
reveal.
a huge reveal. So I think it was January, early January. Uh, I got the name change. I started the process. Not that difficult process. It took like a month, and everything was pretty much legally. Everything was done. Then I had to go get my license and everything like that.
Well, and that's the thing I just want to throw out real quick to the listeners is that like if someone gets married, say in like a more traditional sense, and then the woman's like, "Oh, I'm going to take the man's last name," it's not like oh, we're married now, so everything just magically changes. Like you have
Yeah,
to go in and
it's a
physically
lot.
change your name. So if you're in the process, you could change it to whatever you want. You could change your first, your middle, your last. Like it's the same process whether you're changing the whole thing or just one name. So for
Yeah,
you guys, it was like, well, we're gonna have to do it anyway. Like we might
yeah,
as
we're
well
both gonna
just,
have to do
yeah.
this.
So we might as
So
well
it
just
was
do it
kind of like,
together. Yeah.
yeah. So I changed my name because my name before was Joseph Antoine Ruben Dorville, and now I changed it to just Joseph Antoine Isidore because I was like Ruben was doing nothing there anyways. It was a nuisance if we're being honest. So changed the name, and then I just didn't really do anything with the album idea. Um, I kept saying like, you know, I should do it, I should do it, I should do it, and not doing it. And then like I think we got to like March, and I was like, shoot, I got if I'm gonna do that album, I got like 5 months to kind of do this album. Uh, and then but at in that time, in that intervening time, I think one of the things I've been grateful about with podcasts is learning new information. And in that intervening time, I was listening to a newer hip hop podcast called The Bigger Picture with DJ Head out of California, Elliot Wilson, who's a longtime hip hop journalist, and Jeremy Heck, who's a media online personality. He's really emerged in the last couple of years. Um, and DJ Heck was talking about how the work ethic of an independent artist, and he was saying how everybody can't wake up every morning and go on Splice because he was talking about the artist Russ. He was like, everybody can't wake up every morning, go on Splice, get sounds, put together a beat, write a song, X, Y, Z. And I was like, okay, time out. What is Splice? I was like, what is Splice? I was like, I need to find out what Splice is. And this was happening at the same time one of my buddies had just passed away. My buddy Gary from back home, childhood friend. He had been dealing with illnesses for like a couple years now. He had just had a procedure done like in December, and he was supposed to be on the right track. Went in the hospital in January. In January, either sometime in January, um, and then he passes by March. So then we go down
Yeah,
for
because we were still
his
recording. We hadn't taken our summer break yet when that
yeah.
happened. I remember when that happened.
I was about to say, so then me and my brother go down for his funeral. And I think it's on that trip I hear DJ Head talk about Splice actually. I'm listening to an episode driving back from Broward to Atlanta, and he talks about Splice, and I was like, oh, let me jot that down. So I get home, I open, download, pay for Splice, and I see it, and it sounds, and it provided the texture and the soundscape that I think I had been looking for that I couldn't produce on my own accord.
So what
Because
do you mean? Take us through that because obviously a lot I normally have, you know this, I normally have a lot of comedians on and stuff. And as a comic, I can kind of relate to what they're saying. But when you're saying sound, so like you can't just go as someone who produces most of your own music, are you like in before, were you like in GarageBand just like getting different like beats and stuff or like I
so
don't
it's
know
not
how any of it
Garage Band. I was
works.
about to say it's not Garage Band. So I make my beats on Fruity Loops, FL Studios now. Actually, I don't why did I call it Fruity? It hasn't been called Fruity Loops in like 15 years. Um, and I'll just some people have like a piano. I've had a piano in the past, but I'll just pick a sound, an instrument, a piano, a synth, or something, and just like the thing is, I never studied music theory. I never learned how to play the piano, so I'm pretty much like just fooling around
Yeah.
until I get.
You're just
But I
like
know,
bing, bong,
in a
bing.
way, like I'm so remedial with it, but I know chords, I understand progression, I understand arpeggios, but I don't know how to really I don't know how to consistently make it all blend and
Yeah.
like blend properly. And like you have your crescendos and a beat and all that. Like I think my first album I did completely on my own. I think I told you about that process. Like I made a beat a day for
Yeah.
like 3, 4, 5 months. And then like eventually I ended up with 9 that actually sounded like something.
Yeah.
Uh, and then on the second album, I made like half of them. I made like 4 out of 5, and I bought another 5. And then on Outside, I learned how to like mimic a guitar and like rock sounds on FL Studios. That was probably the most I went and like dove into music theory um to get those sounds. And then for 30, I made most of those beats, and then that was the first time I like dabbled in sampling or just ripping whole anime songs and using them
Hmm.
myself. So this time with Splice, what it had loops. It had pre-recorded loops that someone else had created, and you pay for the service, and then you could download them, and then you could cut them, chop them, flip them however way you
Okay, so
want.
it
So
already
it's
had all
effectively
this.
the sample.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
already had everything that you're talking about, like the progressions and all that kind of stuff, already
exactly.
there. And then you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
I like this beat, I like this part
but
of it. I'll take it.
it'd be like a 4 bar, and maybe that same person made like a second 4 bar of it. So it's like, okay, I'll use that 4 bar, flip it, add these drums on top of it,
Yeah.
and like I could build a beat versus like I'm sitting here manually making a beat.
So
Uh,
just from my perspective, it would be like, as a comedian being like, okay, well, I have this bit, but I don't really know if it works. And then hearing 3 or 4 other comics that have a bit about a similar, like a DUI or something similar, and being like, oh, I see what they did here and what they did here, and then kind of
yeah.
rearranging it to be like, okay, now it makes more sense.
Um, I'll do you one better. You played football. It'll be like you see somebody's in, this is gonna lose a lot of listeners. Somebody's in 12 personnel,
Yeah.
but one coach doesn't run a motion, another coach does run a motion, and then they have like a trips concept or something. And then you are Mike McDaniels, where you've worked under Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan, and you're like, okay, but you could do this if you do that 2 times early in the game, it'll set up a run off a similar looking play, and boom, now you got your running back breaking off of 20 yards. Like you have the same material, but it's like the uniqueness is how you
Got
then
it.
present it.
Got it. Yeah.
So yeah, so like anybody could grab the same samples I had. It's just I decided to chop it this way or add another downbeat here, add
Yeah.
a kick drum here. Like I flipped it to match my style, and then like the way I arranged it is also a different way. Like a lot of part of the album, I didn't play the drums a lot until I got to maybe the chorus. Then I would add the drums because one thing I really like is like um when my voice stands with just the instrumentation without a kick drum. I was about to say that was one of the things I really liked about Frank Ocean's Blonde album. Like the drums aren't really prevalent throughout the entirety of the album. Like his voice and what he's saying is kind of like the focal point.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I really wanted to stand out. So I get Splice and I download it, get a couple tracks. I write a couple things. I go on in June. I still hadn't recorded anything. I don't like to record until I have all my tracks completely done, like all 9, because I always try to aim for 9 tracks. And until all 9, or I have the beat, I have the lyrics, that's what I'm going to record. Um, go on the trip to see my niece's graduation, and my nephew, who is like 5 years younger than me, he wanted to play me some songs because obviously he knows I make music. He's been dabbling with music. One of my older brothers made music as well, so he played some songs he had been working on for us. And I was like, I gave him some advice, gave him some tips. And also earlier in the year, he was like, "Uncle, I'm working on this song, but the beat switches here, and I don't know how I should approach the rest of the verse. Like, can you help me out?" I recorded something rough for him and was like, "Okay, I see how you're." He had the first part of his verse. I was like, "Okay, then you might want to do something like this, da 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 da." And then, okay, this is like your pre-chorus, and then here's the bridge part. And I sent it back to him, and he appreciated that. And then later, he put me on that song, and that's on his album.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, so he played me a couple tracks. So then when I got back home, this is like early June, I got back home and I had worked on another beat, and I was like, I have a verse for this. I don't have a second verse for this. You know what? Let me send it to him. Uh see if let me see what the kids got for real. So
Yeah.
sent it to him. He messaged me. He was like, I'm at the gym right now. I'll be home in like 30 minutes. Within an hour, he sent it back with his verse already complete. I was like, okay, kid, you got. I was like, time sensitive. I was like, man, my boy. I was proud of him. I was like, man, he really, and he did a great job. So I was like, man, that's
It's a
really
great
awesome.
song.
Um, and then the thing that I appreciated most about his verse in that song is the way I arranged the beat, where the kick comes in my verse. I do it, I think it's like 4 bars. Then I got lost and lost and lost and lost and lost and lost again. I put a mini one in his verse, and he also mimicked that same thing. And I was like, okay, all right. I was
Paying
like, all right,
attention.
let's see
We
what you're
like
doing. Let's
that.
see what you're
Okay.
doing. Attention to detail. But so yeah, so then it's not until late June where I finally got everything assembled um and recorded the album. I was about to say track 1, uh toughest song to write, toughest song to record. Uh
That's the one where you have
Name
your mom
change.
sampled in it, right?
Yeah, I would say even that, how that came about was very interesting. Actually, that goes back to the thing about my nephew. So I send him the song, right? He sends it back. I was about to say, it's not like back in the day where you could just, I can't even remember how it was now, but like you'd get an audio file, you'll play it, and like you'll just hear it. But now it has to be like, oh, do you want to play it in Spotify, or do you want to play it
Yeah.
in this thing? Like there's not. So I was like, yeah, just run it in Spotify, whatever. And then right after, because of how it was titled or whatever, right after I listened to that, this voicemail that I had recorded started playing. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I have this. So then I'm listening to it. I'm like, this is obvious. I know it's my mom, but I'm like, what is this from? I'm like, why do I have this? How is this in my phone? I'm working on an album that's kind of like uh a send up to her in a way. And then I send this song to my nephew, and now I'm hearing a voicemail of her. Like, this is kind of some random synergy here. So at that point, I was like, I think I gotta, because that song was originally going to be the last song of the album.
Uh-huh.
It was gonna be the last song. I originally wanted to call it Legacy, and then I was gonna call it Isidore, and then I was like, you know what? Let me make it the title of the album. And then once I was like, let me make it the title of the album, I was like, actually, the first verse on Mama's Boy you should hear is my mama's voice. So that's when I did that. So I cut that up. It's a way longer voicemail, and it gets way more religious. But so I
Oh,
was like,
then what's in the actual song?
then what's
Because it's
actually
a
in there?
pretty long voicemail in the song.
It's a pretty long. And I was like, I gotta cut some of it because it's like a 1 minute voicemail.
Oh, really?
It's like a 1.5 maybe. And I was like, let me cut it to like 30
I was
seconds.
just
I
saying, because
think.
it's like, yeah, 30, 35 seconds
Yeah.
in the song.
So
Because I
I was
remember
like,
when I first listened to it, it took me obviously by surprise because none of us knew that that's how the album was going to
the
open.
album's gonna start.
And I remember listening to it being like, man, this got me. And then after like 15 seconds, I'm like, yeah, this is beautiful, man. Then after like 25 seconds, I'm like, all right, so is this the first track? Is just the his mom's
Just the
voicemail?
voicemail. Oh man. But I sent it to my brothers ahead of time because I was like, I don't want, because I was releasing it the day before the wedding, and some of them were driving. I was like, I don't want anybody like having to pull over and cry because
Yeah.
caught by surprise on this voicemail. But when I sent it to them is actually when my brother Chris was like, that's because one of my brothers was like, dang, I can't believe I don't have a voicemail. And I was like, my brother Chris jumped in the chat and he was like, no, actually, that's my voicemail that I had saved on my phone that I sent to you guys after mom passed. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was
So
like,
you're
it's
like, that's not
funny.
even my voicemail.
I was like, it's not even my voicemail. I just have it. But I was like, the beauty in that voicemail, like I said to them in the chat, I was like, the beauty of the voicemail is she doesn't say a name.
Yeah.
So, and it's something that she literally left on all of our phones at one time or another.
Yeah.
But the fact that she didn't ascribe it to anyone in particular, it's really a voicemail for all of us. I was like, it's not like I got a voicemail, you didn't get a voicemail, da, 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 da. It's
Which is
just,
great that it's saved. That's the one that's
yeah,
saved.
that's the one that got saved. Um, so yeah, I was like, I mean, the whole voicemail, she doesn't say a name. She just says, "Baby, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
God is with you and everything." And it's like, man, it's kind of perfect. It captures the complete essence of who she was for us and like the things that she wanted for us. Uh, and I think it was symbolic of like you're gonna get I think in it she says like you're gonna get to a place and it's gonna be like, how did you get here? Or this might be in the extended version of it.
The
It's a
director's cut.
constant yeah, it's a constant thing she said, like a constant refrain you're gonna get, and it's like a common church thing, like you're gonna get to a place in your life and you're gonna finally like take in and look around and be like, man, how did I get here? And it's like God helped you get here. um but yeah, so the first song super difficult to record, hard to listen back to. um and yeah, just tough. I was like, I just wanted to write, like it says, I want to write a letter to my mom to kind of like tell her everything that's happened since she left. I was about to say, and it's hard to do it and not just like, I had to basically talk it instead of like rap it, because like to try to make it rap was difficult, to try to like make words rhyme with like my life,
Yeah.
like try to find things to like make this still musical, was really difficult. So I found, I was watching this anime called Fire Force, and the opening song on it was like this very somber melodic backing track. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take that because I don't think I could create anything that has that feel. I'm gonna just take that and kind of like talk rap over it and try to get it out. And it was like I said, one of the toughest songs I had to write. one of the toughest songs I had to get out. And then after that, it was just the thing I tried to do on 30 as well. It was how do I do two things? How do I my advance showcasing my ability that I'm a really good rapper with also having uh my constant uh calling card of I kind of want to show I look at my albums as pieces of me in the sense that I want my nieces and nephews to be able to listen to it and hear life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have a better understanding of like who I am and what I am. And then also with the idea that one day my kids will listen to this and they
Yeah.
can have a clear understanding of, you know, the things I strive for, the things I wanted, the things that were important to me. I was about to say it's 5 albums in. I've still been able to not use the B word in any one of my albums. That's like one of the things that I've been very proud of myself. Because I hate that word to begin
Yeah.
with. But
Well, and all the albums are a very significant snapshot because you've talked about this before, but you go out of your way not to create like the same kind of thing.
yeah.
So like Outside was big because it was like completely because I remember listening to Outside being like and then texting you being like, "Hey, this is way different than anything else you've done." And you're like, "Yeah, it's supposed to be." So I do think that's a because it's a thing too I obviously have with comedy where it's like my comedy today is way different than it was 10 years ago. It's way different than it was 2 years ago. So it's always like a cool little snapshot of where I am in time of my life, like when I create a joke, which is
yeah.
similar with music, where it's like, this is what I was going through. This is what was happening. This is who I am now. Because I think if we went back and listened to TV or TV season two compared to Mama's Boy, there would be significant differences.
Yeah. I was gonna say TV is basically from 0 to 2016. 2016, 2017, like that a part of my life just is all encompassed in TV. TV season 2 is from the time I moved to Atlanta till like what until when it came out, basically like 2022-ish,
Yeah.
2021-ish. Um Outside is just, yeah, it's a complete breaking the glass, divergent, diverting any expectation or anything like that. And then 30 is me at 30 years old,
Hmm.
getting to 30 years old. And then this is me kind of like full adult, about to get married, and in a way, just looking back on, you know, all the things that got me to this point.
Yeah.
Um, I was about to say death, my buddy dying. There's a song on there for him. And I did another cool thing where um, we went to another one of our buddies' houses after the funeral, and everybody had their phones out, and we were just like chanting and saying his name and doing toasts and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I should take some of that audio. I think we all did your, and I took that and I like loop it throughout the second part of my of the song. And then when I say long live G, it's from that audio of everyone
Oh, okay.
saying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I was about to
and
say,
you did the awesome thing that I really appreciate. You put a gym banger on there, which I always love. You got one of those.
I put a gym bag on that. That was one of the things I wanted to challenge myself. I was like, especially, I was about to say another thing that always influences my album is whatever has come out recently. Uh, Obviously, it's like if something comes out that's meaningful that calls to me, it's like, dang, I'm never gonna reach that height of this, but I that's what I strive for. That's what I want. And Kendrick had dropped GNX in
Yeah.
November, and I was like, dog, I was like, if Kendrick could make like 7 fucking jams, I gotta be able to make one jam. Like
Yeah.
I was like, all right, man, like, you know, this deep introspection, you know, societal, blah, 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 like that's great. But sometimes people just want to get a jam. And I was like, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. And the day I found it, And the day I wrote, I found the beat, I found like the sounds I wanted to use. I I couldn't figure out the chorus for the life of me. And then I figured out the chorus. Ariel came home that day. I was like, babe, I got one. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I got one in the sense that if I was famous, I got one.
This would be
like this would be one of those.
Yeah, because I mean I listen to all your albums, and it is one of those things where, like you said, it's very introspective. It's very much like this is what's going on in my life, which is great. It's fantastic. But I normally listen to podcasts when I'm walking around. A lot of the
Yeah.
times, the only time I really listen to music is if like you or someone I know has an album come out. I'll listen to it from front to back. But mostly it's at the gym. So like when I'm lifting. So when I heard that song when we were driving around Atlanta before your wedding, Greg had it on his stereo, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is the one that I'll be listening to like on a loop at the
I
gym."
was like,
I was
man,
like, "This
this
is
is
it. This
one
is
of
the
them
one.
ones.
This is the banger."
I was so happy. I called my brother who made music. I was like, man, I got one of them ones. And he was like, what you mean? I was like, you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, he finally figured it out. Guy, I tried to figure it out with work on the
Yeah,
second album. I was like, that was all me production. I was like, that's good. That's really good. But this one, I was like, this one just has a whole different feel to it. Like
I wouldn't
it's
be
it's
surprised.
it's the maturation of
Yeah,
like
a hundred
getting from
percent.
work. It gets me to this.
I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year when Miami's playing in the national championship, if that's going over the loudspeakers. You know what I mean? Where are you from?
So yeah, no, that was definitely one of the ones. And then the Lost, everybody loves Lost. My nephew
Yeah.
killed that. I did my thing. And I would say that song is about a friendship. Um it's about it's about two people. My verse is about a friend that we had a bit of a falling out, more or less. And I think the growth in me is like, I think there's some where I'm like, yo, I don't hate you. You still my dude, but like we just not there no more.
Mhm.
Like I think a younger me is like, yo, fuck you, da 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 da. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't wish no ill will on you, dog. It's just like we just never gonna be where we were at one point.
Well,
And
that's a
then
powerful sentiment too, because I think a lot of people go through that. You get older, you
yeah,
get disconnected from people, and it's like, I don't hate you. We're just not the
we're
same.
just not what we used to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then the other half is directed at my oldest brother, I was gonna say. So oldest brother, he's been in and out of our lives. And it's kind of like, I think the line I say is something like, if you don't got your family, like who are you? Or like what are you? And it's kind of like I could never just abandon my family in that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of family, you
yeah,
had a wedding the next
I
day,
had a wedding the next
and
day.
family was there.
Family was there,
It was
man.
funny because I met your older brother Rick, who I've never met in person before, but because we're on so many between the Discord and the fantasy
Mm.
WNBA basketball and like all this other stuff, he just walked up and he was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And obviously he knows me from Cheers. He's like, "What's up,
Yeah.
dude? What's up?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm Brennan." He's like, "Oh, I know." And then he just walked away, and I was like, "This is my girlfriend Tracy. It's nice to meet you."
That's funny.
But it is just funny because we're out because you and I have been doing podcasts and stuff for over 5 years now. So
5 years.
it's like everyone's just like, yeah, we know you. And I was like, all right, cool, nice to meet you.
Like I don't know you.
Yeah, I don't know you.
That's
So
funny.
I just want to take the listeners through. So as most of you know, I live in New York City, but Joe and Ariel sent us the save the dates. We put it on the calendar. We were the first to RSVP, one of the first, which I
One of
was,
the first,
yeah,
yes.
one of the first. It was so funny too because I got the save the date, and I remember I think we recorded Cheers that night, and I was like, yeah, we'll RSVP tomorrow. And then like 3 days went by, and Tracy, who's always very much like, we have to plan everything 6 months in advance. We have to do it now. She
The
was
good woman.
very, yeah, she's the best. She was very much like, did you RSVP? Oh my gosh,
Oh,
you haven't RSVP'd yet?
that was your obligatory,
Obligatory.
yeah, obligatory Tracy mention on every
Yeah. Oh
episode.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I listen to
Contractually
the show.
obligated. Yeah, yeah. You are a fan of the show. But I was like, oh shoot, I forgot. I'll do it tomorrow. She's like, no, do it now. Do it now. So then I RSVP'd, and it was so funny because we record Cheers every week. So then like I think a month or two went by, and you're like, yeah, some people in my family still haven't even RSVP'd
My
yet.
brothers didn't RSVP like until like the week of, and
Yeah.
basically.
It's like
Like,
I was like, well, you did say it wasn't due until
I
July.
know, but I was like, look, if I ever get married again, which I won't, I'm definitely making it a very sooner date.
Yeah, more hyper
People really
specific.
was like, yeah, don't go till June. I'm like, that's not the point. Is not to take till June.
So I wanted to ask you because the wedding was great. I had a great time in Atlanta.
Cost a
It was
lot.
super fun. Huh?
Oh, that's not the question.
What was it?
I thought you were gonna ask how much did it cost.
Oh,
It
did it
cost a
cost a
lot.
lot?
It cost a pretty penny.
Yeah. It was,
Well
I mean,
worth it though.
it was a beautiful wedding. It was a very nice venue. We were outside. It was great weather. I wanted to ask you,
Phenomenal weather.
what, obviously, because here on X Drinking Buddy, we talk a lot about drinking stories and party stories and stuff. Was there any point or any part of you, because it was like, oh, everyone was having a good time, we're all drinking. Was there any part of you that was nervous about?
You?
No, not me, just in
Oh,
general, like the open bar and like, because you have friends from different walks of life. You had a couple college
yes.
friends there. You had me and like
I literally
Greg
have
and
friends from every phase of my life. I had
yeah, the
friends
podcast
from
friends. You had
growing up back
family.
home,
Yeah.
podcast, college, Jacksonville, Palm Coast, Atlanta. Like, yeah, it was everything.
So
It was
was there
everything.
any point, like when you're planning the wedding and stuff, was there any part of you that was like, oh, I'm a little nervous about getting all these different people from different parts of my life in the same room together?
You know what? No, because uh everybody, I mean, I'm a cool, calm, collected type of guy.
Yeah.
And I don't really hang out with any like too over the top people. So I was really, I'm not saying everybody has my same demeanor or anything, but like I've hung out and chilled with everybody enough to be like, honestly, the craziest persons might be like my brothers or something. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna be any of my friends. I think all my friends are gonna be pretty solid.
Yeah, it was a blast. I made a joke about it. Obviously as a comic, I was sat at the all
The
whites
white
table,
table, yeah.
the all whites, capital W, capital H. This is me, Greg, Kendra, Tracy. Your other
Yeah.
friends, those are your
Jared
college
Nicole,
friends. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the joke, I was like, I remember looking around, being like, I'm way too cool to be sitting at this table. You guys stay here. I'm gonna go over there. But yeah, it was a blast, man. Like everyone had a great time. What was the most expensive part of the wedding? You don't have to give
I
a
mean,
number, just like what was the
venue
thing where
aside,
yeah.
outside of the venue, catering definitely was up there. I mean that's really gonna be the two biggest uh cost leaders.
Yeah.
Uh I think outside of that, everything was pretty reasonable. We got a lot
Okay.
of things on like because we I think we had like a 20-month runway. So we got a lot of things like on payment plans where it's like just, you know, XYZ a month.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, I didn't even
the
know that was a thing.
box, the yeah. So like even the venue was like a monthly installment. Like
Okay.
it
Yeah, and
was
you
a
had that
20
really cool
month.
box.
I was gonna say the box that was probably the biggest outside of those two things, the most expensive thing.
That
Um
was cool though. And then
yeah,
you
I
had a
was gonna
bunch of
say
nods to the podcast network on there.
yeah, that was pretty good. The newspapers were a pretty good thing. Got that hanging up here. Got
That
the
was super
vinyl up
cool.
here. Um, but yeah,
How are you going to do the vinyl? Because we signed both sides of it.
yeah. I figured just one side's gonna be up. You
Yeah.
know,
Which side did you
yeah.
pick? Did you pick my side?
Uh, don't know if it's your side. I picked A. So I don't know if people noticed that, but there was you know how vinyls usually have an A and a B side.
Yeah.
It's A and a J side.
Oh,
So yeah, so I think I have her side up, and we put like I think I was like, I told her to pick like 5 songs that really define her, and then I picked 5 songs that define me, and that's like the track listing. So,
oh,
but
okay.
her side is up right now.
All right.
I
Um,
figure like, you know, every year we'll probably flip it. You know,
yeah,
that's what
there
we
you
do.
go. Do you
Every
did something
anniversary we'll flip
you did
it.
something super cool when you came out. So a couple things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
You came out to Kendrick Lamar.
Yep. Squabble up.
Bubble Up, one of my favorite songs of all time. That's another gym banger. But yeah, it was interesting because it was very traditional in the sense of like everyone's coming out and everything. And then just out of nowhere, it's just,
Record scratch.
and then you came out and then, which I was super stoked about. Again, it's just one of those things where, and you and I have talked about this, whether it's on Cheers or just personally, growing up playing sports my whole life and growing up in the South, sometimes I don't recognize what is inappropriate and what is appropriate for me in
Mm.
my position and like what I should be, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so, and this was another thing that I want to get to with the dancing as well, where it's like, oh, I know these songs, like I know the dances, but it's like, am I going to look like an asshole going out there doing this stuff? And I don't drink anymore. So it was one of those things where it was very top of mind. Like,
Yeah,
don't be a
oh yeah.
fucking dickhead. Don't go out there and try and crip walk and then look like an asshole. Um, but that eventually subsided and we were
Eventually
partying.
happened. I mean, eventually you got
Uh,
a grip walk.
if Serena Williams taught us anything, it's eventually you got
I
to go out
mean,
there and just
no
let it
matter
rip.
where you at, sometimes you gotta let them know where you from.
Good callback. But so yeah, so like you came out and I was when the track played and you're walking out, I was like so excited, but I was like, it's a wedding. You are not in a locker room. Fucking stop it. And so I was very cool, calm, and collected, try to rein it in. And then you did something. We again doing cheers for 5 years. We were doing super emotional walk-offs and stuff off and on for the last 5 years. And you never have cried. I've never seen you cry. I've never seen you get. I've seen you get emotional, but I've never seen you like openly like break down.
Yeah,
And then you guys had to do your vows. And
yeah,
something you told me that I thought was genius on your part. You were like, Ariel, when we do the vows, you have to go first
yeah.
because you were like, I know what mine are, and it's gonna bring the house down.
I was coming. I was a man carrying a big stick. I was
It
ready to
was,
knock the socks off everybody.
and it was beautiful, and I was weeping, but I cry out the drop of a dime, and then
Yeah,
you started crying, and
I
then
started
I
crying.
was like, can't do this.
It was crazy, man. Nah, there was a few moments uh leading up to it that really, I guess, primed me for crying. I tell you all the time though, I'm a crier. Like I'll go to the
Yeah.
movies and I'll freaking weep. We went and saw Encanto like on like 2, 3 years after it came out, and I just started bawling.
Mhm.
Thankfully, it was only me and her in the theater. But no, when she turned when I was standing there and I was looking out, and it kind of hit me at that moment. Like I like I'm very present and I'm very aware like of the future in the moment, which is obviously not present, but besides the point. When my mom was in the hospital, the first things I thought of were she's not going to be here for my wedding.
Mhm.
She's not going to be here to see my kids. And it hit me when she turned the corner. I was like, oh my gosh, that's my wife. She's beautiful. And then I'm looking out into the sea of people, my loved ones and her loved ones. And I'm like, my mom's not here. Fuck. So it kind of just hit me at once. So she got down. She did her vows, which were fucking great as well.
Yeah.
Hold on. She's texting me. Recording with Brennan. So she she did her vows and her vows got me. And then I did mine. And the crazy thing is like I think I told you I wrote mine in one day, like
Yeah.
one night.
Yeah. You said you sat
Um
down and just knocked it out.
we were in bed, she had fallen asleep, and then it just came to me. All the words, everything just came to me. I think I tweaked it a couple times afterwards, but for the most part, I kind of just one shotted it. That second part of it, where I'm talking about her family and the coming together of our families and what my brothers were for me and what I want to be for her. That was all. That never got retouched. All
Yeah.
that was
That was the
6 months
shield and the
ago,
sword and all
seven
that
months
kind of
ago.
stuff.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
that was one shot.
Powerful.
Um
Powerful. Whenever anyone brings up shield and swords, man, I'm like, let's go.
and then so yeah, so I had looked at it a couple times, I had read it a couple times. I had been fine every time. But that moment, it was give me a second. Let me actually pull it up because
Well, I
there's
was just saying, while
something
you're
in it.
pulling it up, the thing I want to mention is I think one of the things that I've noticed is when it's something that you write and you have control over, I think that's a big variant to like you say you cry at movies and stuff, but that's either you see it coming, but it's not something like you wrote. Like, so you don't know how it's going to end. So it can
Yeah.
take you by surprise. And I think the thing with the walk-offs and everything is like you're in complete control of that, which is why I was kind of surprised with the vows because I was like, I've never seen you get that emotional about something you personally had already written.
What it was is uh by my side, I've had my brothers. It was the greatest gift my mom could give me. It was again that re putting the image of my mom back in my head.
Yeah.
And that really just knocked me out, man. I was like, damn. And yeah, I had to just power through. I was almost inconsolable. Uh
There were a couple of pauses where everyone started cheering and stuff, and I was like,
yeah,
as a comic, I see this too, where people like will like freeze up or like get super anxious, and I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, I don't know if we need to do this. He's gonna get it. I know he's gonna
Yo, it
get
was
through it.
I was definitely gonna get through it. It wasn't like I needed encouragement, but it
I
was
know, and
just
everyone
like
started cheering, and I was like, okay, let's give him a second.
yeah, no, it's just, like you said, somehow some I wrote caught me by surprise. Like
Yeah.
in the moment, it just felt a little different. It had a little more weight and gravity to it. Um and yeah, no, it was great. And the reception to it was great. She loved it. Her parents loved it. Her dad didn't cry. He almost did. He said he almost got me. But but no, it was pretty special. Yeah.
And then I wanted to ask you because I didn't notice this. Were you guys like having because I know you're having a good time, but it's also like you're the hosts of the event. So were you guys like drinking and having fun, or was it more like, oh, we're responsible for everything? Like let's because at the end of the night,
Two
I will.
things.
Okay.
I will answer that question. I feel like this has to be brought up because we set it up. My family didn't know about the name change.
Oh yes, yes, good call.
So we planned it out with her grandfather, who was our officiant, that it won't be said until for the first time you're meeting Mr. and Mrs. Isidore. And there's a video of my brother, who was my best man. Somebody has the video. I can't remember who put it on the drive, but you her grandfather says it. He's going to like start clapping because obviously this is like where you clap because and then he's like he stops himself, looks at me, looks at my brother and like my family in the front row, looks back at me, like his brain bro. He was so confused.
Well, and I
So
did
like
notice that too. Is in the audience, everyone was kind of like, yeah, huh?
yeah, like half of the audience, like no, my side didn't know
Yeah.
and wasn't aware. So and then like one of my cousins, my cousin and one of my brother's girlfriends was like, I heard it, and I was like, oh, that's nice. They're like making a tribute to like his mom or whatever. And then it wasn't until they walked outside and saw the box and was like, I think he changed his name.
Well, in
Like
this, I real quick on this. This was almost blown the night before at the hotel.
couple times. It was almost blown at the hotel. It was almost blown at the brewery. Yeah, I think there were some people. There were two people that were definitely sniffed something was afoot. But the thing is, um, the first person that was able to sniff something was afoot wouldn't understand like
Yeah.
the gravity. It could be like,
Because
oh, he's
wasn't
changed
weren't
his
you like
name.
checking into the hotel and someone was like,
I was about to
"Oh,
say,
the
so
Isidore party"?
that's the
Yeah.
one. That's the one. I had put the reservation for her grandparents under my name, and they apparently went to the hotel before to check in a day early before they went to the venue for us to do rehearsals. So when I walked in and the front desk person was like, "Oh, there is it?" So I was like, whoa! I haven't even told you my
Shut
name. What's
up.
going on?" And my cousin was like right around the corner, and I was like, "Oh," me and her kind of locked eyes. I was like, "I don't know if she heard that or not." But she didn't say anything about it, and we just let it ride. But then
Yeah, because I remember
Kyle,
we were all eating and lunch the next day, and Kyle was telling me like, "Yeah, I think it almost like completely blew up."
I was about to say the other one is Kyle at the brewery after that.
That's what it. Yeah.
I was about to say he was like, because we were talking about I guess the conversation of my ridiculous ass long name came up, and he was the Ruben part. He was like, "So Joe, you changing that too?" And I was like, "Don't say
Shut up.
it." And he was like, "Oh, am I not supposed to say that?" I was like, "It's all right, man." I'm like, "It's all good. It's all good. Nobody's paying attention."
Well, Kendrick did a
And
deep dive because
Yeah, Kendra found it out ahead of time.
yeah,
Yeah.
because she heard wind that you were changing your name. And
I
so
said I said it on a new low a couple
okay, that's
times.
okay.
Yeah,
So
because
she didn't
nobody
know.
from my family listens to it.
Yeah, so she knew you were changing your name, but she didn't know what the name was. So I
Yeah,
think she went
but
back and like your
she knew I was
Facebook.
changing it to my mom's maiden name. I had
Yeah,
told, I think I didn't say that on the show, but I told Greg and Scott that.
yeah,
As we were like getting ready. I think I told you that too.
yeah. You
As we
yeah,
were
you had
getting
told
ready.
me, yeah.
Yeah.
But she went back in
Um,
like your Facebook and found a
she went on my
picture.
IG
That's what it
and she
was.
scrolled back and there's a picture of me and my mom when one of my nephews were being born. We're at the hospital. And you know how they give you the sticker,
Yeah, the name
and
tags. Yeah,
she just zoomed in on the name tag and the name was right there. And
Sherlock Holmes,
I
Batman
was like, what
level.
the heck? Like one day, Greg, and Scott are getting ready to do the show, and Greg's like, I think I know the name, by the way. I was like, no way in hell you know the name. And he was like, does it start with an I? I was like, whoa.
How did you figure this out?
No.
Gosh, yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Especially
But
because go ahead.
no, I was gonna go back to your question, but say what
Yeah.
you're gonna say.
No. Go. That's I was just gonna try to lead into that anyway.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we weren't necessarily like trying to be on our best behavior or anything. We knew obviously there were things we had to get done as far as the wedding was concerned. But it was funny. Like, I mean, we got married. You know, we went out, took pictures. Then we go around back, and then shout out to my buddy Wes. He came up to me and Ariel like as we were seeing everybody and everything. He asked Ariel like, "Hey, do you want a drink? Like, you want me to get you something from the bar?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so he went, got her a drink, and then he asked me, and I didn't hear him. I was just like talking about everything. He asked me apparently a second time. I didn't hear him, and everything's going on. And then like the third time, he's like, "Hey, by the way, Joe, like I asked you if you wanted. Do you want a drink?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll take it." He was like, "Okay, cool." Cause I asked you like 3 times. I didn't know if you were like not drinking or something. I was like, "I didn't even hear you, dog." So yeah, he went and got us a drink. But yeah, the funny thing, this is very odd to say. There was so much adrenaline, and then we did so much dancing and everything. I don't even think I ever got drunk. Like
I
I
noticed
had
that.
one mixed drink, and then I had like 2 beers, and I just never felt drunk at all.
Yeah, because I've been to weddings in the past where people just get annihilated, obviously coming from my family. And so that's why I was kind of like, oh, I've heard all these stories that just talked about, like the Eagles going to the Super Bowl and doing shots and doing that. And I was like, we're going to get this Joe. And then the whole time you were very much like just the Joe that I've always known. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to bring it up on the show because I was like, is he just not drinking?
No, I
But
was
it makes
drinking.
sense with everything that was going on because, but there was a point in the night where I don't know if it was just my brain, but probably like 20 or 30 minutes into the reception, a song came on that I knew, which was hilarious because Tracy, growing up in the Northeast and like her like suburb, she's like, how do you know all of these songs? How do you know all of these dances? And I was like, lean with it, rock with it. Like, come on.
Come
Like
on.
that was the anthem in high school for me.
Classic.
Yeah. So, the one thing I was disappointed with, Nuck If You Buck came on, and you and your brothers all have dreads, and
Oh, it
the
did come on, yeah.
DJ, I was like, you got to take the rubber band out. Like, come on, we gotta,
I
because
think you did, yeah.
there's the line where it's just walking the club,
Yeah,
shaking my
we
dreads,
knocking, we bucking, yeah.
and the DJ cut the song right before that verse
Oh
started,
yeah.
and I
I was
remember
he cut
being
a
like,
couple verses a little early.
ah, I was like, I gotta want to take their dreads down for that.
That's
Yeah,
very
it
funny.
was. I was incredibly self-conscious at the beginning because again, I was like, "Am I supposed to be out here dancing, or am I going to look like an asshole?" But then you had your other friend. I think it was one of your college
Brandon
buddies.
Barry.
Yeah,
He's high school, middle school,
high school.
conference. Yeah.
Okay, and he was out there dancing. I was like, "Well, if he's going to be out there dancing, I'm going to be out there dancing."
No, I was about to say in the aftermath, you and he were remarked upon. Her dad was like, "Man, he was like, your friends really match your energy. Like you guys are out there the whole time, and your buddies were out there with you. Like I remember, he was like, I remember the 2 white boys, Brandon and somebody. I was like, oh, you talking about Brennan? He was like, yeah. He was like, they were out there the whole time. They were doing all the dance. I was like, yeah, man, that's how we get down.
Dude, it was great.
Yeah.
It was probably my My proudest moment was when Not Like Us came on. And everyone knows who listens to the show. I have plantar fasciitis in my left foot and my foot was killing me, but it came
Ooh,
on and I was like, I have to do it because
it's one moment.
I was like,
You
I
only get
can
one
do it.
shot.
It was like pain or no pain. Like, I don't care how bad this is going to hurt tomorrow. And it did. I could hardly walk going to
Ugh,
the airport,
tough.
but I was like, I have to do it. And I did it. And I think it was your cousins, three of your family members just like
Probably his
all,
nephews.
okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
they were a lot younger. They all just went, ah, and started running around. And I was like, I did it. I did it. I did it.
No, man, it was great. I was say the thing Ariel kept saying afterwards was, people tell you how stressed out you're gonna be, and you're not gonna get to do this, you're not gonna get to do that. But maybe it's just us, maybe it's other people, I don't know. But she was like, no one tells you how much fun you're gonna have. Like it was
Yeah.
super fun. Like, man, that was the one thing that like I was so happy uh about because we had went to, I think it was her cousin's wedding, and the DJ kind of like dropped a turd, and like we were in our cars before nightfall going back
Oh,
heading
really?
back home. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So like from there, me and her were like, yo, we got to make sure we have a partake. Like no one wants to leave. Like everybody's like, oh man, it's done. Oh, we wanted to keep going.
Yeah. And
So
yeah.
we crafted like 3 2-hour long playlists. We had like a playlist for cocktail hour, a playlist for like the start of the dancing, and a playlist like after 9 p.m. Like we can start cursing and stuff like that. So
I did notice the track changes.
yeah, that was eventually got a little, but so when we sent that to the DJ, and then shout out to the DJ himself, he added his own little flair in there, and it was just, and then also, I mean, I feel like everybody was just feeding off our energy because we
Yeah.
pretty much didn't leave the dance floor the entire
No,
time.
you guys were out there the whole time. You didn't sit, you didn't eat, you didn't do anything. You were just out
Yeah,
there. Even the cake cutting ceremony, you guys kind of went over to get the pictures of
yeah,
doing the cake cutting, and then you just popped right back in. And I was like,
yeah.
wait, is there cake? What's going on with the cake?
Yeah, it was like we did the picture version, then I think they took it to the back and they just copped it up for everybody to go
Yeah.
get cake when they felt like it. But yeah, no, man, it was nonstop party, and that's what we wanted, and it was pretty fantastic.
It was a great time. All right, last thing I want to bring up. You have the European vacation coming up.
Yeah,
So you decided now, because has Ariel been to Europe before? Because I
she
know
is
you
not.
have. Okay. So was this something for your honeymoon you decided to go over to Europe? And was this something that you guys had talked about, or because I know you had been there before, was this something where you're like, oh, we have to do this? Like, how did that come about?
I think a little column A, column B. It was like she had wanted to go on a like actual leave the country on a plane type of vacation, because she's like the only time she's been out of the country are like cruises to like the
Hmm.
Caribbean islands, Mexico, stuff like that. And I was about to say, on my walls, I still have some of the pictures from my first trip, because I turned them into canvases, and like I've hung them up in every apartment I went to. And so she was like, I kind of want to do that. And I was like, okay, well, if we're going to do that, let's look into how we can do that. I was like, the way I did it was, over the winter, it's more cost effective, um, more layered. It's not going to be like, we're right walking around sunshine. And she was like, no, that's fine. And I was like, all right, cool. Then
But you're
let's
also
do
not
it.
going to be bumping into a million tourists as well.
Exactly. Way less people are going to be there. So we're going to Paris, we're going to Brussels, and then she wanted to go to Venice. I was gonna say Brussels is really much in there as a buffer,
More of a
because we
pit
could have
stop.
just went. Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna be there for like 36 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good little in between, and to also get like a third country in there. But yeah, it's pretty much Paris and Venice. So
Beautiful. Look at you.
yeah,
Look at us all grown up.
yeah, man, it's yeah, I mean, we have. I feel like you haven't talked about it on the show, but you also have gotten engaged
Yeah,
since.
gotten
So
engaged. Be wedded eventually, you know.
nice
Doing
pictures, very nice. I
Thank
forgot
you.
to comment on your pictures. Yeah,
Yeah,
nice
we
pictures.
it was very funny because
I commented on Instagram, but forgot to
yeah,
comment to you.
Tracy didn't want to do a public proposal because she doesn't like attention like I do. So it
Mm.
was very funny. I think I told you this, but for the listeners, it was very funny because she had mentioned a long time ago And a couple times since then, she's like, "Yeah, my dream is to not get married in like a big public place. Like my ideal proposal actually would just to be turn the corner in the apartment, and then you would be down on one knee." So I saved that, and then fast forward, once a month we'd have this sit down talk about like, why aren't we engaged yet? Like what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I remember when we were having this talk, I had the ring in my pocket, and my favorite part was being like, "You're gonna feel so dumb in about 20 minutes." And then she went to shower, and then she came out of the shower, like with her pajamas on, and I was down on one knee, and everyone was like, "Why didn't you film it? Why didn't you film it?" Obviously, as someone who's a creative who does stand up, you film everything for content,
Yeah, but
and I was like, "Yeah, but this was for us.
yeah,
One,
but some things are not for everybody.
yeah, and two, I knew she was just going to be getting out of the shower. Her hair was going to be wet. She was, she's
Yeah.
not going to be dressed up. So then I have a buddy who's a photographer, like every person in the creative world does. I've got like 15 friends that are photographers, quote unquote. But this guy, Sean, is a legit comedy photographer. And I was like, "Hey, I know you do comedy, but would you like to do our engagement photos?" And he was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." So then we go
I
to
can add
Central.
that to his resume.
Yeah, exactly. And we go to Central Park and we're taking all the pictures. And at one point, we're at the part of the park where I don't know if you've ever seen John Wick, but they execute the woman in John Wick 1, the assassin lady. It's like a really iconic, there's a fountain. It's a really iconic part of Central Park. And I turned to Sean and I go, "Hey, it would be cool if we did like a proposal picture." And he was like, "Oh, dude, that's a great idea. Let's do that." Not realizing that everyone in fucking Central Park doesn't realize we're just doing pictures.
Pictures.
So I got down on one knee and we did the whole fake proposal. Everybody started cheering. And Tracy just looks at me and she's like, "This is my nightmare. This is my nightmare. This is what I didn't want to do." And I had to get up and be like, "It's for the photos. It's just for the photos, everybody. Stop clapping." Which
Very
was
funny.
probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
It's very
To
funny.
just be like, "No, it's fake. It's all fake."
It's not real, guys. Stop it. Stop
Dude,
embracing my love.
yeah, right. She doesn't like attention. On the other hand, you can cheer for me all
I'm
you'd
a
like.
big fan of it. You can actually check me out October 16th.
Yeah. Social media at Brennan T Comedy. Plug everything one more time before we get out of here. Let everybody know where they can stream the album, everything like that.
Yes, music is under the moniker Headphone Joe. No, oh no, in the phone. That's on all digital streaming platforms. Mama's Boy. Oh, last thing, the album cover. Because you
Oh
mentioned that.
yeah,
That's a photo. I mean, I have my photo albums from when I was a kid. After my mom passed, for like the first 2 or 3 years after she passed, either on her birthday or Mother's Day, I'd put like a photo up on Instagram. And then one time, my brother Chris was like, "Hey, that photo would make a really good album cover one day." And so then I was like, when I was working on the album, I was like, you know what? He put that in the ether. Let me grab that. And then I had Ariel write Mama's Boy and Headphone Joe on a piece of paper, took a picture of that, took it off. What they select tooled it on
yeah.
Photoshop and then put it on like that
Oh, so
outline
she wrote
of
that down.
she wrote that down
Oh,
and
I thought
then
you
I
did that
put it
like in
on
editing.
no, that's handwritten, lifted through Photoshop, and then I superimpose it on like the Polaroid thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah.
Look at you, just getting everyone involved, man.
It was it's
Team
a
effort.
team process. Yeah, team effort, baby. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Mama's Boy on all digital streaming platforms. Headphone Joe, no, no, in the phone. Headphonejoe.etsy.com for the merch. Check me out with Brennan on Tears from the Press Box. Check me out with my brother Rick and Kyle on Who Does a Podcast. We just did Sinners. And then check me out on New Low, dropping every Wednesday. Records every Wednesday night on Twitch. Drops whenever Scott gets the artwork done. So usually Friday. But yeah.
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Got the big show October 16th, Grove 34. Friends of the pod. Caitlin Palufo will be headlining with Jared Waters, Max Fine, and Ray Zawadney, all former guests of my podcast, this podcast that you're listening to right now. Yeah, and that's it. I keep wanting to do the cheers thing. I'm like, "Joe, get us out of here." Yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you all next week.